Hello and welcome to the DrivingMaul show. And you know what? We have a new All Black squad and it's just got bigger. It's bloated. Razor's decided he needs more players and so he has brought them in. And to discuss all of that with me, I have got back on the show, Cornflake. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Good to be back. It's a good day. It's a great day. There's no rugby we've watched over the weekend, right? But there's good reason to celebrate. Sports in good hands.
Sports in good hands. Oh, dear.
I say that as I'm watching the Olympics on the other screen. So if you see me looking over here, I'm watching shooting. Just to see who's going to possibly shoot me one day from Korea or some other country.
Oh, yeah. The shotgun shooting or the sort of pistol?
Oh, no, it's full rifle, like
target guns. Shooting. Okay. Cool. Well, yeah, I've not watched any of the Olympics so far. I'll be honest.
The Olympics are amazing.
Not really fussed at all about that whole thing. Look, we've not had you on since the All Blacks played England. To be honest, I don't think. Maybe we did maybe after the first one. But do you want to give us a quick just a quick thoughts on the England series and then also the Fiji test?
The England series I thought was a series that I kind of expected, right? It was I thought it was competitive.
Yep.
I know. I expected it to be competitive. I actually thought it would be a 1-1 series. I thought it would be a tied series. I thought England would come all guns blazing. You know, All Blacks rusty, first test, new coach, new squad, new players, blah, blah, blah. England's already played Six Nations, end of the year. They're a lot more ready. They're a lot more settled, et cetera, et cetera. And then the All Blacks would wake up in the second test. I thought it'd be close, aggregate points. I thought would be always close, but I thought England would come all guns blazing, like I thought all Northern Hemisphere teams would. I thought Wales would, I thought Ireland would. I was wrong way around on that series, but I thought all the Northern Hemisphere teams would come out blazing a bit in that first test match. But I thought it was a good series. I think we learned some things we needed to learn about certain people that wear certain single-digit shirts in a backline. Which that just tells you there's only one player I'm talking about. And we learn how good people can be stepping up and into, their next step of their career. So, good series. But from England's perspective, I think England's in a better place than people give them credit for. Yeah, they got a lot of older players, but I think we saw a lot of players on their side of things, the same sort of story, right? Guys that are young, coming into the team or new to the team throughout the season and showing that they are capable of stepping into that next ladder or their next rung of their career, next step up in quality of rugby as well. So, England's I think got a good little squad, and I think they're slowly changing a direction of how they play as well with their style, slowly but surely, but getting a bit more trust and a bit more faith in guys that can actually run the ball and score those 5-pointers instead of relying on just the threes like they did last year. But yeah, I think good for both teams. Series I thought was always going to be close, and I think the All Blacks will probably be quite happy with how they come out of that series throughout the two tests. Fiji, on the other hand, I think what do you take from that game? It was messy, it was scrappy, it was look. The poor Americans got there in their droves. The positives, okay, positives. Lots of Americans turned up. They made a great atmosphere. It was a good crowd. It was a good day. Everyone stood and took photos and they were happy and they were laughing and chuckling away and they enjoyed the rugby. On the rugby side of things, it was a good thing it was in a crowd like that that's not used to what good and bad rugby is, right? Because to them, watching MLR and then watching that test match, they're probably like, wow, these guys are amazing. When in actual fact, I thought it was a pretty scrappy, messy, just a test match of people just trying to do what they can rather than it wasn't very established. It wasn't very team-like. It was just a bunch of players running out there, getting some fitness and playing in the sun and trying to tick the little, sponsorship boxes and things like that for the Americans. But hey, rugby in America, should it be in Fiji? Yeah, probably would have been better, right? But hey, good for America. Right, that's a preview or a prelude to what we can get at the World Cup in America in 2031. Awesome. I'm for it. Because if they can get crowds like that through a whole World Cup, that'll be a spectacular tournament.
I think the All Blacks brand does have a pull above other things. So sure. I'll be very very surprised by that, but we'll see. Anyway, He doesn't like you bad mouthing MRI. He says so, Simon.
Look,
but
MLR, I'm presuming it means MLR. MLR is great.
MLR, yes, that's right. Yeah.
I've watched a crap load of MLR this year, and I've been. I mean, it's not spectacular, but I think it's quite. It's okay, right? I mean, don't have high expectations. Go in looking to have fun and learn about. I think the depth of America and Canadian rugby, and you can enjoy it. And I can see what they're trying to do. And I think if they can keep a bit more continuity of the teams and the structure and build a bit of history and a bit of rivalry that is developing, they get decent crowds at those games. I mean, they make Super Rugby, they're up there numbers, when you're getting, in the single digit thousands. I mean, Super Rugby doesn't do much better. So, hey, they're doing all right over there. The problem I have with it is they're always going for the tries. They kind of need a little bit more of that test match experience where sometimes, reluctantly I say this, it is better to take the 3. And quite often in MLR, you get 21-14 or 28-21 or 28-14 scorelines, which is fine, which is cool. But the amount of mistakes they make sometimes just like, buddy, you're not going to score the try. You've been down here 4 times already. You keep going to the corner. Just give it to Matt Giddo and score 3 points already, okay? But hey, it's fun to watch. And it's been, I think it's quite exciting for America if they can keep it going and build on. I think it's going to help them tremendously over the next decades, hopefully.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I'm a bit more downbeat about the All Blacks after that. What do you call it? Gone blank now. After the England tour, to be honest, I don't think it was as positive for the All Blacks here. I personally think they should have put England away a little bit more cleanly than they actually did. But there we go. That's a different opinion. I gave my more full opinion when I chatted about it with Stephen Harris a couple of shows ago. So I won't go into it in depth. But anyway, let's jump into some news then. Simon points out that Zimbabwe won the African Nations Cup this morning against Algeria. I'll be honest, that totally I went past me. I didn't notice that. But Simon's our expert on all of these things rugby. So he brings us up to date with those. Thank you for that. So congratulations, Zimbabwe. Does that mean that I've gone blank? Who's that? Namibia? Does that mean Namibia is going to struggle to make the Rugby World Cup? I have to wait and see on that, because Namibia are always the team, the other team from Africa, aren't they? After South Africa, so we'll see. Yes, we'll see. A couple of bits of news. Then Rob Penny will be back with the Crusaders next season. Your thoughts on that one? Happy with that?
Look, I think half of the troubles he had was the injuries and the players missing and the changes. And I mean, who do you go after next? I mean, they kind of invested in him, didn't they? And they kind of thought he's the guy to take us forward. I can see why they're stuck with him. I think he needs to hit the ground running next Super Rugby season. Has to be huge. They've got to be contenders next year. Or I think he'll get the whole season regardless. Whether he's there after that, like, what did they give him? Did they give him a 1-year deal or did they give him a multi-year deal? Do you know?
Well, he already had a multi-year deal, right? So yeah, he was on a 2-year deal. So they said we'll keep it going.
Oh, they just kept him. Oh, okay, right. So it's not actually a new deal, right? Yeah, I think next year, if he's not a contender, I think semi-finals. He may just scrape by his ass if he gets quarterfinals, but if he's not, anything less than playoffs, and he's definitely gone burger after that. But yeah, he needs a big year, and it's got to start big as well, or the pressure's going to come instantly on him.
Oh yeah, I think he needs to start because of the for the whole squad, not just for him. They need to wash this from the system. But I think injuries were a big one for him. Let's be blunt. And being like, was it 3 10s down? So your first 3 fly halves are gone. And the only one that looks any kind of really decent there has left to England. So it's a matter of who the hell can they sign for next season in that role as well. So it'll be interesting to see what cattle they can give him on that one there. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think he should have been given another year. I think it was down to injuries, his main issue. Coming from the live chat then, Robbie says, have you been to a Pacers game? Yes, you have. We've talked about that before on the channel, and you got lots of merch. Was on the big screen, all sorts of stuff. They really did look after him. And are you looking forward to the new rugby video game?
Now put it in the trash. It's garbage. It's rubbish. It's absolute garbage. Don't waste a penny on it. It's trash.
The other news coming up then, Moana Pacifica have signed Artie Surveyor. What do you think? That's a kind of a big one. I did hear on the old chats that there wasn't room for him at some of the Hurricanes, and so the Hurricanes were quite happy to move him on from that point of view. So I actually think it's a good place for him. And it lets him connect with, sort of give back to the Pacifica thing, which obviously he's very big into, which is very cool. He'll help them an awful lot, and let's be honest, he'll get plenty of game time as well.
He was the first name on that team sheet, regardless of who else is in that team. Look, it's great for Moana Pacifica, right? It's amazing for them. Like Julian Savia was like, whoa, amazing. He's a bit past it, but whoa, now it's like, holy crap, we got Artie as well. I want to see if the other rumors are true. Now, Mr. Laumape has been floating around the rumor mill going to Moana Pacifica. He's also been floating around the rumor mill for you leagueies out there and returning to the Warriors when he was at their game last weekend. He put out a post on social media saying that he wants to go back to where it all started. So, there's a massively explosive player that could be a huge asset. I mean, if you're asking me, Laumape, just forget about league. Go play for Moana Pacifica. Imagine that. Richie Moanga's getting a rumor mill as well, that he might be coming back and going there. So imagine that. Imagine just before you throw up the pin, just imagine that. A backline consisting, a back row and a back line. Artie Xavier at I don't care. I don't care what number is on his back. 6, 7, or 8. And then you've got who cares at 9. You got Moanga, you got Laumape, you got Julian Xavier on there. It will change their team. I think Artie Xavier alone is going to change their team and their fortunes. He's a guy that will carry that team on his back. So build up with that work you've done already and keep the ball rolling. Keep it rolling, okay? You got a really big name here. That's a massive. You're flying down the hill right now. Don't hit a tree, okay? You've got massive momentum. Try and do more with it, right? I mean, going to another player, whoever's on your target list, and being like, we've got Artie Xavier on our team. Do you want to come play with him? Whatever your position is. That's a massive pull for any sort of recruiting. Julian Xavier was all right, but to come on and say, hey, we got Artie, come play with Artie. We're going places next year. They could really run with that quite strongly. So I hope they do, and I hope they don't completely fall off the edge of a cliff with it.
So, I think it's cool. That's a good sign. A couple of other names that are sort of been bouncing around with no confirmation around them, but on the rumor, Carl Tuanakafi and Via Fafita, two other names there that would both bolster the scrum. Let's be honest. Even if just given the experience that the other guys can learn off on those ones. So if it will be good. I'm not sure how much. The other thing that's also happened with them is that they've been it's not entirely clear as to what their link to the Pacifica Medical Association group is, as to whether they've actually been bought out by them, or it read all sorts of really funny kind of. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. It sounds like they've been bought out by this crowd, which is an interesting move as well. So we'll see how that all pans out. It was held in a trust before then, so it was a kind of non-profit thing. Now it's been bought by them, then it becomes a bit different. Now their purpose is to promote kind of well-being amongst the Pacific community, and this is kind of one of their ways of doing it. Interesting to see how that all pans out. But definitely kind of growing up, it feels like at Moana Pacifica now. From whereas not that long ago, there was a feeling, there were definitely some people going, well, they're not going to be here next season or the season after; they'll be gone soon. Whereas I'd say, solidifying a little bit more. I feel with this. Simon said they should move out of Mount Smart. They kind of did last year, didn't they? Where they were all over the shop. I think they only played 2 games at Mount Smart last year. That's sort of the problem, is getting it home as well. So we'll see how that sort of things.
You mentioned Via Fafita as well, which they did have a bidding war with Scarlets over, and they lost that one. So that would have been a big pull as well. They lost that. Scarlet's amazing. A Welsh club actually won the bidding war against another team, which was shock. But yes, he wanted to stay at Scarlet. So fair play to Biafafita. But just, I mean, that would have been massive. That would have really...
It would have been, yeah.
I don't like Biafafita mainly is in that second row, but man, I just like him I like him more as ball carrying work than his set piece work. Like if I'm going to give Biafafita in my second row, I want a really, really locky lock, a lock that does nothing but catch at lineouts, like one of those dominant locks. I don't care if you don't hit a ruck or you just amble around and do nothing else. Just win every single lineout, because to me, Biafafita does a job, but he's not the guy I want to rely on in the line out. But anyway, he's gone by the wayside. But that's just, I really do like Biafafita as a ball carrier, more of a back rower, but put him in the second row, like that sort of guy.
Now, moving on then to some sadder news. That Subu Nkosi has been banned for anabolic steroids. This is now the fourth Springbok since 2019 that has been caught with this, as it seems. The others being, where's my list of the other guys? Apai Dianti, Chili Boy Raphael, and Elson Yangchis have all tested positive as well in that one. So, look, I mean, it's. I think that we would be totally naive if we were to think there wasn't some level of doping happening in rugby. Okay, you just got to look at some of the bodies to understand the pressure on players to bulk up and to be a certain size. That I'm absolutely. I would be amazed if there wasn't more that hasn't been caught yet. To be honest, so it doesn't surprise me that someone has been caught. It's very sad that someone has, and that obviously this is going to be probably the end of his career in this piece, and he'll be and also damages his chances of any kind of standing of using his Springboks sort of caps as a way to get future work and stuff as well. So really sad, but I say not surprised. He did disappear, if you might remember, in 2022, and a missing persons case was opened. Actually, about it. It was all about the with the police, all about it. So he said, look, he was having the stress, mental stress issues around that kind of thing, about being a Springbok, etc. Really sad that this has happened, and that let's hope he gets his head sorted, is emotionally sorted out, and that that he can move forward. But clearly, anyone who does dope has to be banned. There's got to be a deterrent, but I hope they just don't totally cast him out and help him get himself sorted as well. Personally,
it's all well and good to find these guys or to catch them and bust them for it or whatever. But I agree. If you can't just drop them out and say you're banned, get out of the sport, never come back again or whatever. But you've got to help them, because like you say, if that's his career, I don't know how old he is, but say that is his career. Where does he go?
28, and you're talking about a 4-year ban.
So he'll be 32. Like you say, he could come back and play club rugby a bit like that, but the money's not the same. But the stress of playing and being a Springbok, as opposed to the stress of where's my life going? Where's my next meal coming from? That stress is different stress, man. South Africa's a different world. It's a really different world, isn't it? Just how they treat people, sports people, all people. But you got to be concerned about how he's going to deal with that next stage of his life. So I do hope he gets the support and can get something to continue on, whether it be in rugby or whether it be in something else. You got to make sure these guys are all right, or else.
I don't think I'll be honest. I don't think it'll be in rugby, but yeah. Any other news you want to touch on before we do the All Blacks squad?
Not about Mr. Racial Slur Jamanier getting his 50. How many weeks was it? 34 weeks or something? 34 weeks.
Banned, he's in the 20s guy, right?
No, Jamanier, the French fly half. He's the number 10. He's played the World Cup. After they beat Argentina. After they beat Argentina, what platform? Some social platform. He put out a racial. Insulting racial comments, shall we say? And he got dropped from the squad.
Something along the lines of, "I would kill all Arabs in the street." I mean, that's not
Pretty
just. I mean,
trying
that's
to be
just
very
not
PC
insulting
about that.
racism. It's just insulting, isn't it?
It's got to be very PC about that. But the ban is like 8 months, 6 or 8 months. It's a lot. It's a long ban. Dropped from the squad straight away. Booted out. Banned for a long time. So again, a bit of a precedent set there. I think how players deal with social media and how they expose their thoughts or what they think to the greater masses, right?
So this is he said he posted a video of himself saying he wanted to injure any Arabs he met in the streets. Sorry, so slightly different to what I said, not kill. Absolutely, to be fair. But either way, look, I think 34 weeks. It's long and it's not, right? I think this kind of thing should be a year. Bang, 52 weeks, straight up, boom, you're out for a year for that kind of stuff. There is that's. And look, saying you want to injure anybody in the street is a bad idea. Is not good. I mean, so look, so to me, yes, it is long. It's one of the longest bans we've had for a very long time. And we're talking about, I mean, eye gouging about a decade ago used to get you this kind of length of ban. It's probably the last time we've had bans of this length in professional rugby. Clearly, we've had a couple of lifetime bans in amateur rugby where a referee's been hit or that kind of stuff. But apart from that, this is the longest since, I say, there's eye gouging. It feels like about 10 years ago now, where some of the French players got during the European competition got banned for like 8 months or something, which is kind of this kind of length. Yes, it is long, but to me, it's also short in that kind of sense. That I think it should be a year, because it's a kind of round number that very clearly says you whereas 34 weeks is a bit of a weird kind of one. So to me that's I think it's a little bit short in that kind of sense. So this keeps him basically out until late March next year, which is half a club season, the November internationals and Six Nations as well.
I think that's the key one, missing the Six Nations. I think that was what they kind of wanted to make sure he missed.
Well, it says that he could get an 8 week, it could be reduced by 8 weeks if he undertakes community service around this one. So it could be, so it could come back from this. So it could be slightly less than that, which would bring him to late January, which would then make him available for the Six Nations. But he would have to. He obviously would have had next to no sort of game or match practice before that.
Yes. And would he even get to the team at that point?
Yep. Oh, someone says World Rugby rejected the $800 million from Qatar. Thank God for that. That was I said at the time that was going to be an absolute disaster if they went for that. So stop looking at short-term money and actually looking at long-term growing game. Is what I need to do. Right then, All Black squad or anything else?
I was just looking through what people posted on Discord, which is a very, very news-related place. Pacific Islands to replace the Rebels, possibly for the Lions next year. I thought you'd be one up on that one.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yes, no, you're right. Yes, it'd be good. Problem is they're going to play it in Australia, aren't they? How about playing it in the islands, please? So look, yes, a step in the right direction, but it's again, I'm not sure that these mixed sort of Pacific Warrior teams really kind of work as well. I think it's better off playing a single country, a single nation, rather than a mixed team, to be honest. But hey, too little, too late for me from the Lions. On that
it's something, isn't it? I mean,
yeah,
we were talking about it a few weeks ago. It's just like, well, actually, no, it'd be a couple of months ago now when the whole Rebels debacle went down. It's like, well, they are scheduled and selling tickets to the Lions v Rebels game as we spoke at the time, and it's like, what are they going to do there?
I thought they were going to go with an Australian Barbarians or an Australian A team would have been the easy way to go.
They can't expect people that have bought a ticket for the Rebels versus the Lions to be like, oh, we're going to go watch the Pacific Barbarians or an Australian Barbarians or Anzac Barbarians, whatever like that. Oh, I'm okay with that. I don't know. I kind of feel like they're going to have to start back at square one or off a rig. I mean, I'd probably still go, but a lot of people, would be like, nah, shove it. I don't want to. If I can't see my rebels, stick up your nose and go away. Although all the Brits will be like, they won't give a toss because they'll be half drunk by that point anyway, if not fully. So it won't really matter.
All the Brits are on tour packages anyway. And look, the rebels people, just resell your ticket for more money. Better than getting a refund.
Rugby tickets selling for more money? No.
Well, actually, they did for the. So I managed to get tickets for the Rebels Lions 12 years ago, or 11, whatever it was, 11 years ago, game fairly easily because a lot of people used that midweek to go visit other parts of Australia, and actually it was a pretty empty stadium for that game. But we did get, we had to pay over the odds for test tickets on one of those reselling websites. The reselling website actually even hired a hotel function room to handle all the tickets that they were reselling.
Gone are those days. A physical ticket doesn't even exist now. It's all digital. Everything's digital.
Well, it was all, these are physical tickets. Christopher, everybody also, you'd rather see Lions play Fiji or Samoa rather than actually the kind of Pacific team. Agreed.
Yep. Fiji's the one, right? They're the leaguers at the moment.
Yep.
Samoa was pretty poor over their internationals they've had at the moment.
Lost to Italy, I think, from memory.
Italy, yeah.
Yep.
Pretty easily beaten.
Not great either.
Mm.
So, what else won this?
That's about it. That's all I had. I thought I did well to have two things. Yes.
Oh, wow. So what we've got here, folks, on who the people who are listening to the podcast, what I put up on screen is actually our airplane squad that we've had before for World Cups. That has got the squad that Razor announced pre the England tour, and also at the airport. It basically is the injury replacements that he had as part of that as well. So that's our starting point, and then we'll have a look at what he's actually named for this, and we'll update the spreadsheet as we go along. Hookers: Amoa, Taylor, Bell. Pretty much the same as before. No surprises there. Amongst the props, again, the same 6 props as he had before. George Bower was there as an injury replacement, so he now slips back out because there's no injury replacements at this time in that one. So I think in the front row, no surprises really, Steve, as we expected.
Yeah. No one really did too poorly there. I think unless there was a predetermined plan, which I think there is in other positions, I think it's pretty much, I think they're happy enough of what they got out of that group. I think some players, outdid themselves. I think Fletcher Newell had a good little series. I think the group probably had not bad. I think he dropped off a little bit from his pecking order. Sure, probably got overtaken, but I don't think he had as good as he could have. And we got to see a little bit of some youngsters come through as well. But so, yeah, I think that's pretty much as you could expect. No one really did badly enough, or no one was high enough up that pecking order to really push their way through, I think.
Yeah. Moving on then to the locks. Sam Darry came in as an injury replacement and showed his worth and has earned himself a full-time place in the squad. I think deservedly so. And Josh Lord has come off from the injury list himself and is now injury replacement for Scott Barrett in there. Scott Barrett, Patrick Tupelotu, and Topu Va'ai being the other ones in there. So again, I think pretty much as we kind of expected. Josh Lord, was only missed out last time because of injury. It looks like Sam Darry has managed to has used the opportunity very well and climbed ahead of Josh Lord in the pecking order. Otherwise, again, as expected, really with the picks in that space. Moving on to the back row, then this is where it gets fruity. Now, actually, first off, at least they've got 4 locks now. Having 3 locks in the squad before was a joke, but there you go.
Yeah,
Now
but
we
like
get
I said, there's not enough depth though. Like the injury guys are the only guys that are really in a position that they can push through because everyone else has done nothing. Like, what have they? They've been away playing club rugby against everyone who's half drunk by half time. So it's hard now for anyone in that list to push themselves in, bar injury, like coming back from injury or someone getting injured themselves, like Lord has for Barrett sort of story.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you're right. Agreed. But then, say loose forwards where it gets fun. The 6 loose forwards they had before have been selected again. Peter Lakai has dropped away from injury replacement, and then Sam Cane has managed to add himself in and decided they need an extra player in the loose forwards. They already had 6, and now they're going to take 7 with a Sam Cane as well. Boy, oh boy, to me, this is where we start looking at squad going, that looks a bit bloated. I don't think you need 7 players in your squad. And I don't see why you're bringing Sam Cane back at 32. Has been injured all season and a couple of games. Sure, he's been training with the squad, so clearly they've seen enough of him. But to my mind, he's not going to be there at the next Rugby World Cup. He's retiring from international rugby at the end of the season. Why are you taking him? What do you? It's not. It can't be for experience. You've already got Arnie Surveyor, Dalton Papulehi also, and Luke Jacobson both went to the Rugby World Cup. Ethan Blackadder's been around now. It's not like you've got a totally callow group there. They are. There's experience there. They don't need him for experience. So I don't get why Sam Cane's been included, to be honest.
Who can play lock? Can we play Blackadder at lock, maybe? Can we play
Finau
big lads, aren't they? They're all massive.
Finau can play at lock. He has covered there. But you've already got
I agree. They're all back rowers. I just think it's ticking the box of Sam Cane wanting to pass that milestone. What was it, 100 caps or whatever it is by the time he retires? And it's just kind of a thing like, hey, I'll pack up the bags and I'll waltz my way off home after the season. Can we have a gentleman's agreement that I get my 100 or whatever it is milestone caps that he's after? I mean, I don't know. I mean, he doesn't get near 23, does he? Not with those names. Not with the way Finau's come into the squad and looks quite comfortable. I think Satiti is a superstar. Even Blackadder looked all right. I mean, no one else really offers less than Sam Cane does, rather being an injury concern. And they don't lack leadership. You've got a captain in Papali'i for the Blues. You've got a captain in Savia as an All Black or in Super Rugby. You've got experience throughout there. I mean, Satiti's the only guy who you look at and go, okay, he's a bit fresh. The rest of them are seasoned veterans. So I don't know, man. To me, it's just ticking that box for him and saying, thanks for your services. We'll give you those extra 2 or 3 caps or whatever it is he needs.
So he
and send him on his way.
He's on 95 now. So he needs 5 more. You've got 2 against Argentina, 2 against Australia, Italy, and Japan. Other sort of 6 I think he could be involved in.
Get those 2.
I can't see him playing against France or England in the November ones or against the Springboks in South Africa. So to me,
2 in South Africa as well.
Sorry, 2 games
in South Africa.
Yeah. I can't see Sam Cane playing in the South Africa games. I can't see him playing. I can't see him playing against France away or England away. Those 4 games I can't see him playing, which means that it's going to be the 2 Argentinian games in New Zealand. We've got home and away against Australia. We've got the Japan game, and then you've got Italy as well. So those are the 6 games where he can pick up those caps. But I just don't don't get it. I don't see why he's there. Moving on then into the scrum halves. Then Finlay Christie has been dropped. Noah Hotham was actually already in there as an injury replacement. Now he is done enough to move into and take over Finlay Christie's role there in the scrum halves. So yes, good. I previously said they didn't need both both TJ Perenara and Finley Christie. Just take one of them. You don't need both of them for experience. Yes, the other guys, Cortes Rattimer, Noah Otham, haven't got much experience. You need one experienced guy, but you didn't need two. So to me, right. I don't really care whether you drop TJ or Finley Christie, to be honest, but you do need to drop one of them.
Man, that game, that second test against England, I mean, that substitute at 9, that was it for me. That changed that game. That completely. Rattimer coming off the bench completely changed that game. He was the man. First test debut, I don't care. The speed of the ball, the quickness around the ruck, everything changed for the All Blacks when he come off the bench in that second test match. It just completely changed the whole game. So, yeah, he's my number one. Perenara, I don't care. Be there and be supportive. Rattimer was electric. He was electric. And that's really pleasing because bring back Roygaard. You're going to have Roygaard starting. Rattimer off the bench, who was like a little spark of energy. That's exciting, man. I mean, we were worried about the 9s. Rattimer is really that time off the bench showed if that's what he's capable of consistently, he's going to be an absolute superstar. Hotham, I didn't see much of him against Fiji, but look, young guy. I think there's a number of them going for that third spot in the long term, like your Xavier Rose as well, because your Roygaards come back, you got your Fakatavas. Look, I think those guys are the future. Definitely the future. But Rattimer, so good. The chalk and cheese, man. Before he was on and after he was on, just I've never seen such a glaring difference between what a number 9 can do, especially for a guy on debut. Just incredible.
So yes, I say happy with those, and Cornish Ramo should be starting. Somebody is it going to be a third Bledisloe Cup match? No, there isn't. What we've got is we've got the two games at home against the Springboks on the 10th and 17th of August. Then the 1st and 3rd of September are 2 games away in South Africa. 21st and 28th of September is the game in Sydney, then a game in Wellington against the Wallabies. 26th of October then is a game against Japan on the way over to in Yokohama on the way over to Europe. And then in Europe, they have got England, Ireland, France, and Italy on consecutive weekends from the 3rd, 9th, 17th, and 24th of November on that one. So no third Bledisloe Cup this year on that one. Not so much you can get carried away on those ones. I think they've done good. And yes, look, he's brand new, right? He's learning at this level. You're going to see you're going to have ups and downs, but you've got to give him time. Don't just discard him after one.
It was his pace. It was just the pace he brought to the game. The pace of the game is what drives your attack. Quick ball out of a ruck, getting to a ruck, quick passing, being decisive in your targets. For me, at a 9, I want him there quickly. I want him cleaning quickly, and I want him to know where he's going to go before he gets there. What I can't do at Finley Christie is when he gets to a ruck, maybe he gets there quick, but then he goes, who's over there? No, I don't like you. And then he'll pick it up, and he'll be like, I still don't know what way I want to go. And then it's too slow, man. Rattimer was just pace. Whether it was because he was new, he just went straight to whoever, Mackenzie, if he was there, he was there. Or Barrett. Barrett had a very good time off the bench as well. I thought that was the best test matches I've seen from Barrett in a very, very long time. But it was just that decisiveness and the speed. And that changes. That's all he needs to do. Everyone else does the rest. And when you've got players running at speed and getting into the next piece, charging at defence, with England's defence, which was rushing out with Christie very effectively because they could rush out and then get back quickly because they knew he was so slow, they had to shut that defence down because the ball was coming out. Those guys were still all offside. And that would stop them rushing up, gave the All Blacks more time. I think it was incredibly, incredibly quicker, incredibly faster. Better pass, more decisive speed out of the rucks. The All Blacks game changed.
Hologram 2-back says that Finley Christie, when he first arrived, was all about getting the ball away quickly. Sometimes not very well, but he always got it away quickly. The that that it has changed about having quality of delivery rather than space now. That might be part of that. Anyway, so TJ, Ratimer, or Hotham are there. Oh yeah, sorry. In there, Hoskins to Tutu. Yeah, if someone mentioned that one. Yeah, nocturnal rights. If he's not got the message yet, time to head out. Time to go to Europe and get your paycheck.
It'll be an all former New Zealand back row for England with Cunningham South, old dum boxing match man, and Satutu in a couple of years' time. I forgot his name. That's how much I don't like him.
How does he qualify for England?
He qualifies not residency, family. I'm pretty sure they've already tried to get him a couple of years ago. Eddie Jones tried to get him.
Oh, interesting. So we'll see. We'll see whether if look, he's got to do the 3-year stand down before. So we'll see. His mother's English.
English.
There we go. So you'll have to do the 3-year stand down. When did he last play? Did he play last year? Anyway,
no, it's been a couple of years, isn't it?
So we'll see if he maybe will be. Maybe we'll decide to give it another go somewhere else. He's not the style of player that Razor's looking for at the moment. He very much is looking for in his pack. He wants big bodies who are going to smash. All right, that's he very much wants that kind of rather than. Whereas Hoskins Tutu is sort of quicker and nimbler and tries to get around the outside and stuff. That's not really what he's looking for at the moment on this one. Hologram 2X says that he got dropped pretty much as soon as Ryan joined the All Blacks. Okay, that might be part of it then. So that's so it has been a couple of years, hasn't it, with that one?
Yep.
Into the fly halves of the first 5/8s, and we've got Bowden Barrett and David McKenzie again. Big surprise there, not. That's totally as expected. In the centres,
what did McKenzie do in that series? What did he do? What did McKenzie do in that series? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. He's a pedestrian. He's a fullback.
Whatever.
He's a fullback.
We said Bowden Barrett came on and played from fullback. Yes, but so there's no 10s in the squad at all. Into the centres then, and Geordie Barrett, Rico Awani, Antoinette Brown, Billy Proctor all keep their places, which is the 4 centres that you need. And for some reason, that I don't understand,
I knew you'd like this one.
that David Havili should be promoted from being injury reserve to actually being in the squad. And honestly, again, I don't get what he brings. You don't need 5 centres. You only need 4 in the squad. So you got more than you need. And look, out of the 4 they've already got, they're good. They're all good. I don't see why Rico Awani has his detractors, but there's none of those there that I think particularly can drop, or particularly want to drop. So I don't get what it is, unless it's just the fact that he sees Rico, Billy, and Antoinette Brown only as 13s, and you reckon he's got no 12 cover. In which case, why have you got 3 13s? You only need 2. You don't need, you don't need that many. So one too many players, and I really don't get why. I really don't get to see why Havili's there.
He's to cover 10.
Well, you've got Perifetta to do that.
I know, I'm just trying to scare you up now. I know how much I love Havili. No, I don't get it either. Versatility. I mean, that's anything I can see for him. He's versatile. He's the sort of guy you can have it in 23, and he can come on pretty much anywhere in the back line. But I mean, that's not performance. That's just his versatility, right?
Yeah, but there's lots of versatile players in here. Ruben Love again can play a number of positions. Perifetta can.
Can he play midfield though? Can they play midfield?
You already got 4 midfielders. Do you need? What do you need?
But you're thinking of 23. You're thinking of 23. If you're going to have Bowden Barrett, right? You're going to have a maybe they're trying to go with the whole South African plan. Have a 6-2 split, and then you can bang in a Havili and a 9. whichever one you want to go with, and you can say, hey, we don't want my backline gets buggered, Havili will come in. Oh, no, I agree with you, but I'm just trying to think of why. Whereas if you put a Ruben Love in there, hey, he can cover 10, he can cover 15, I guess you can shove him on the wing. But would you really want him in midfield? I guess no.
I mean, he played 12 quite happily. I mean, just like Geordie did. He's kind of coming through the same kind of. Geordie played 10 at NPC and then played fullback, and so yeah. No, I don't. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Understand that one.
We talked about this weeks ago. Remember about Scott Robinson going after the players that he trusts. And we talked about Havili then. This is before they had picked that initial squad. And we both said we don't want to see Havili in the team. But like Nocturnal's saying, it's that reliability that he knows he has with a player like Havili. And I mean, it's come through, which we were kind of worried about, 2 months ago.
Yep, I don't understand that one. So, but you say, it's just, bringing in players that you trust can do it clearly. Does that mean he hasn't seen what he needs out of the other four? I don't know.
I thought Billy Proctor played quite well. I think he impressed. Definitely.
I think they've all done fine. I just want to say, I don't think it might be something that's happened that you've seen on the training park. I don't know, but I just don't get. I really don't understand why he needs that player. Him and Sam Cane, two players that just don't need to be in the squad, in my opinion. Moving on then to the back three, where we have the only player that has been dropped from the squad to be dropped, and really unfortunately for him is Amoni Nawaya, who has been dropped.
Christie got dropped.
Oh, sorry, Finley Christie. Sorry, you're quite right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
How dare you forget about Finley Christie being dropped? That's a highlight of my life right now.
But he has been dropped to allow Will Jordan to come back in, so you can kind of understand. I think we all expect as soon as Will Jordan was fit that he'll be back in the squad. So I think he's just unlucky in the fact that just the queue of talent or the queue of available players there, and he was always at the back of the queue, in all honesty, in that crowd. And actually releasing him so he can get some NPC games rather than just holding tackle bags for the rest of the year is probably not a bad idea at all. And you can bring him back in then for the November tours if you need to. If one of these players gets injured, at least he'll be match fit. So I get why he's been dropped, and hopefully it is purely around that, and it's not around an attitude thing, and that we see him back again in this. But everything I've seen of him. And on that side of things, you could have not picked a fifth midfielder and picked Norway instead. Look, either way, I don't think. No, I think that's one position too many in the squad. Right, you don't need that many players there. You understand with players just doing nothing. David Havili should basically just do nothing for the rest of the season, rest of the year, and just get a nice pay packet. I mean, hold some tackle bags. Maybe go on the bench against Japan or Italy, but apart from that, that's as much as he should see on that one. And the reason I put an extra row in that, so obviously, Severin Rees, Stephen Perifetta, Mark Talia, and Caleb Clark are all still there, and Ruben Love gets upgraded from injury reserve to full-time squad member as well, which look, I think we all thought he should have been in the squad in the first place. I mean, a lot of us surprised that Stephen Perifetta got the role ahead of him in that one. Stephen Perifetta slightly more experienced at 27. Ruben Love only 23. Unfortunately, Stephen Perifetta, he's been injured so much over the last 3-4 years there, but finally had a season where he's actually been fit and has managed to show himself. So look, with Ruben Love one, again, I don't think you probably need 6, but I guess, but with Will Jordan just coming back from injury and having Ruben Love there just to experience the environment and get used to touring. I mean, he's never toured South Africa before, So to my mind, I'm not that concerned about having an extra player here. Even though I do think it's one player more than they really need.
I feel like it was a plan. I feel like Ruben Love and was a plan of you get the series against England, like with Narawa or with someone else in that back three. You get the series against England and Fiji, and then Ruben Love rest up. You had a long season. You're going to come in for the Rugby Championship and so on after that. It feels like there was always a plan all along, but I feel sorry for Narawa because he had a really good Super Rugby season. And I just don't feel like he had the chance because, look, Talia and Reese have just been so good this year. It's hard to push those guys out of the team at all. And it makes you wonder, what's Peter Fetzer going to do when he's already come out and said that Will Jordan's going to be a 15 who plays wing. So that puts pressure on Peter Fetzer's place in the team. That puts pressure on who's going to be that backup between Barrett and Peter Fetzer. And you look at this team and you kind of think like there's almost too many players because these are all play your best team games, right? Look, to me, Argentina to me is a play your best team game. You don't take a B team to Argentina anymore, or even at home against Argentina. They've pretty much got to play their best 23 against all three of these other nations, against South Africa, against Australia, and against Argentina. I don't think you can rest and rotate or give guys chances, especially starting against any of these teams. So for me, like as much as I love Ruben Love, I don't see him getting much game time. Maybe a bench appearance against Argentina, maybe if you want to be really sneaky. But boy, if Will Jordan's back in that mix, I don't even see if Peter Fetzer's going to get a chance to stake his claim any further either, because you got Reese, you got Talia, you're going to have Jordan, and you're going to have Barrett, you're going to have McKenzie. It's pretty much locked down of who your best backline is with Rico and Geordie in those positions as well. So I don't want to see anyone rested. I want to see all guns blazing, your best 23 all through this tournament.
I think that the way Australia has been, I think you'll probably. I think to me, you start off with your best team for the first two games against Argentina. The last thing you want to do is go into this and lose an one early doors.
Yep.
So you get that momentum, go across South Africa. Pardon me. See how that goes. See how Australia's travelling. If they're travelling the way they were against Wales, then yes. I'm not saying wholesale changes in the same way that you did with Fiji, but I do think one or two players you can rotate for those two games before you do wholesale changes for Japan, in my mind. Because, Australia, look, they are coming off the back of not making it out of the group stages of the Rugby World Cup, folks, right? I mean, they're not in a great place at the moment. They are, I was just the weakest of the Rugby Championship teams. But with Argentina, look, they're going to have had, have been all over the place, just got themselves back together after being sort of playing in France and England and all over the shop. Will they what state are they in at the beginning of the Rugby Championship? Now, clearly they've had the mid-year test to get themselves back on track. So yeah, perhaps they will be back up to kind of full speed now. I do agree that those two don't take it lightly, but I do think we'll see some rotation for the at least for the Australia game.
You do realise that Australia is the only undefeated Tier 1 nation since the end of group stage of Rugby World Cup, right?
Since the end of the group stage, Jesus Christ. How convoluted are we doing like this? It's like kind of.
It's hard to argue with that form.
Oh, dearie me. A 1 point loss in the Rugby World Cup final is the only loss that the All Blacks have had. Dearie me.
South Africa lost to Ireland.
Yep. No,
Argentina's lost. France has lost. They've all lost.
Well, of course they've all lost. Yeah. No, South Africa was the only one that got through to the.
Well, undefeated Wallabies.
Dearie
More
me.
wins under Schmidt in 2 months than they had under Eddie Jones in 2 years.
Really?
Or something like that. Oh, in a year, sorry. More games than Eddie Jones did with Australia in the whole year. He's won in 2 months.
There's 2 wins. Eddie Jones got less than 2 wins. Wow.
Yeah, he only won. Oh, I don't know. Ask the stat man.
We don't have one.
Ask the stat man. Simon, the stat man.
I'm trying the did they trying what they how they did the World
Self
Cup.
had a good attack in the first preseason games against Otago.
Eddie Jones got 2
I did
wins.
watch
Okay.
that game at work. I watched that. Yeah, the Georgia and Portugal. There you go. They've won
Oh, of
3
course.
games this year. I thought they
Oh,
won
they
3.
won 3 games. Yes, I'm thinking they only had the 2 games against Wales, didn't they? They had 1 more, didn't they? Sorry. Yes.
They played
Okay.
Georgia. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot the Georgia game. That's why. I was
They,
thinking the Tier 1 games.
Salford played a really good first half against Otago Nocturnal. I watched that game at work. We had it going on the computer at work. It's playing against Otago and Gore. Yeah, they played a good first half, and then Otago brought on half a Super Rugby team in the second half and completely wrecked them. So it was a bit disappointing, to be honest.
Oh dear. Well, there we go. So yeah, so folks, we do have the NPC kicking off in not this weekend, but the next weekend after, which is the same weekend that the Rugby Championship kicks off. So a weekend of no rugby before we have to have the sort of too much rugby to be able to sort of get round everything, as we have the Rugby Championship and the NPC going at the same time. So yeah, something else. That's our review of the All Black squad on the whole, kind of as expected, with perhaps 2 players too many in the squad on that one. The why are there Wednesday night games?
For the love of cheese. For the love of cheese.
The because the NPC has decided to go back to having storm weeks because players actually love it. The NPC kind of, they're not as bad as the European Champions Cup with sort of changing formats and making it totally unfollowable. But they do try on that one to kind of make you forget as to what's the format this year. Because there's no championship and stuff anymore, is there? It's just one table before you hit the your quarterfinals. So I think we're there. We're done, aren't we?
Yeah. I'm just reading about Nocturnal's comments about how Jonah Nareki absolutely destroyed the Stags, which he did. And it's a bit unfair when you bring on Sam Gilbert, Jonah Nareki, and a whole bunch of other Faliafunga and Cam Miller, and they're all coming on in the second half. Insulting. Poor Southland.
Look,
I'll try to watch a bit more of the NPC this year, I think.
Yeah, I was saying here. So honestly, I don't think about the NPC pool. I'm not really. Well, yes, okay. It's more the New Zealand Rugby for messing around with the format and trying to save money. I liked it. I liked Championship, Premiership, and Championship, where you actually had a chance of kind of winning something. Well, let's be blunt here. Your Southlands, your Northlands are not going to be making the finals.
Hey.
Your Manawatu's aren't making the finals. So, look, at the end of the day, they're not going to do that.
3 Japanese players in our squad. You just watch out. Hologram, that was 2011 Rugby World Cup year, man. That was a good year. Good year.
So Hawke's Bay apparently beat Wanganui.
What a shock.
Surprise.
Great try, Nocturnal. Yeah, Sean Withy. We got Sean Withy. How dare you talk bad about the Stags? We're stealing Super Rugby caliber players.
Look, it'll be much more fun when the actual NPC starts, and we will get into that anyway. So thank you, folks.
Wait till the Stags win a game. Oh.
Yeah. So we'll look forward to that, guys. I'm not sure if we'll have a show next week because obviously there's no rugby this weekend to talk about next week. Boo. So we will be back obviously after the opening round of the Rugby Championship and the NPC to go through all of that action. So do join us that Monday at 8 p.m. And Conflict, you got anything going on in your channel at the moment? On that kind of on
I was
live
just thinking about game streams. Game streams. I'll be able to do game streams again. Yes, they were
you
fun.
will.
More game streams. Rugby Championship. Hang on. Who do the Wallabies play first? Do they play South Africa first? And that'll be in Australia, right?
Yes.
Or 1-on-1. Or are they both in Australia?
I So the opening round of the Rugby Championship has
What's the
the
opening round?
Australia versus South Africa at 4:30 p.m. on Saturday, before New Zealand play Argentina at 7 p.m., which really does not make sense, does it?
4:30, and is it in Australia?
Yes.
Oh, go away, Australia! What are you so dumb for?
That's like a 1:30 kickoff for them. So it's
just ruined my weekend. Just straight away, ruined it. What a pack of pricks!
Oh dear! And we have to set the expletives tag again for the podcast.
Stupid idiots! God damn it!
So yes, so next week, so for opening round we have 4:30 game for Australia versus South Africa, followed by the 7 o'clock game for New Zealand Argentina. The weekend after that, New Zealand Argentina is again at 7 o'clock, as expected, and Australia moves to 9:45 because hey, that's
better.
So that's the game they've got in Perth. So it's still in Perth. That's still like a pretty early kickoff at 9 o'clock.
This for Perth, yeah.
Whereas the other one is in Brisbane. So there we go. Anyway, folks, see you in a couple of weeks. Have fun, stay safe, and ta for now.